Welcome to the Black Open University Show. Rebuilding education from an African place of being. Welcome to the Black Open University Show. Rebuilding education from an African place of being. Build deep and complete.
Do you know of the water of life?
What's the big idea? What's the big idea? Original again, start from the heart. Not too in deep. I see, I feel. Mathematics, matrix, institutes, patterns. 1, 2, 3, you learn classic.
Welcome to the Black Open University Show. Rebuilding education from an African place of being. Welcome to the Black Open University Show. Building education from an African place of being.
Dip down, dip and down, dip and down. We're in there. Dip down, dip and down, dip and down. We're in there. Inside of who you are. Inside of who you are. Time has its own way to be. Gracious behavior is the savior. It seems to be inside of who you are. The sky is like a storybook with sand in your eyes. See the light, come and see sunrise inside of who you are. Dip down, dip and down, dip and down. We're in there. Dip down, dip and down, dip and down. We're in there. I said inside of who you are. Sun dips to the magic of the moon. Perfect magenta. In the center is womanhood inside of who you are. A child resides beside still waters. With spiritual eyes, come and see a sunrise inside of who you are. A child resides beside still gracious behavior is the savior. It seems to be inside of who you are. The sky is like a storybook with sand in your eyes. See the light, come see. Sunrise inside of who you are.
Hashima family, welcome to the Black Open University show here on Bless Radio. This is Astamari Bartekwin. It is a pleasure to be here back in the studio, forwarding the movement. Welcome. Let us open with the salute, and I'll give my round of thanks forward upon that point. Yatawagi Salamta. Exir Yimasagan Hashima Tawagi Asab, Creator be praised, respect the warrior idea. We give thanks to all those that have come before. In that hidden place, that mysterious place, there are many that have come before. Those that we don't see again in the flesh, but they've left their impression in the life, in the cycles of life. We give thanks to those ones that have passed. And we give thanks to you all who are present, listening, now live. We give thanks for you. We give thanks to the ones who are members of this mighty station, Bless Radio. I have to give a special thanks to the one, Dougie. We haven't touched base. I haven't called his name on the radio, but I have to, because he is the foundation for me being here. He's the one who introduced me to the station. Big up to you, Dougie, and all the other presenters on Bless Radio. Big up to the one Omawali, the mighty Pan-Africanist. What a profound set of reasoning the one is bringing. I hope you all are listening to his podcast for this. I hope you're downloading and just listening carefully to the lecture series, the presentation series. Fantastic. The one Supreme, the one Lady Leo, and all the others. There's too many to name. If I sit to name them all, we run out the whole show time. So we big up everyone, big up the management and the engineers. We give thanks. We are rolling forward. I trust by now, 7th show in. I trust by now ones have an idea of the format, and I'm going to give my most concise introduction to the format of the show, just so that we have to keep that consistent for new listeners who may be just tuning in to Bless Radio and to Black Open University show, presenter Astamari Bartekwin. So this show is an educational show. We are doing education from an African place of being. Our organisation is actually Abundant Centres UK Development Trust. We're a learner cooperative, and the Black Open University is a part of our service. This part of the service deals specifically with the use of cultural arts to teach the math and science ideas, and generally life skill, a whole world of advanced learning, which more simply can be said to be STEAM learning. STEAM is STEM plus the arts. STEM is science, technology, engineering and math, and we value the use of cultural creative arts. This format, STEM, STEM plus the arts, its proper name in the business of the Black Open University is Yitamer Öket, which means unified knowledge. So we function with a unified knowledge pedagogy, a unified knowledge approach to learning, system of teaching and learning. And that's what this show is all about. Introducing the pedagogy, explaining aspects of it, and the world into which we exist, the reasons we exist, and the vision of the future, the ways forward with the tools, the powerful tools that we have in our organization. So the basic format of the show is that we have what we call Gazette, which is the beginning. We'll speak about things to do with planetary events around our planet, astronomy you might say. So we'll be touching on some things like this. Normally we start to speak on the moon, the cycle of the moon, phase of the moon, and any other important events that are taking place. So that's Gazette. Gazette means province. Then we move on to the news, Zena Gize. Zena Gize is news. Any new developments that you need to be informed of in the world of education, Pan-Africa, and education pan the Black Open University. So anything that comes up as news, put it in that next part of the show, Zena Gize. Then we generally go into a feature to touch on elements of our 4 flagship courses. The flagship courses are Level Being 9, Preparations for Mastery, and Level Being 9 Mastery. These are GCSE learning programs. They are structured to deliver GCSE learning, but in reality they go in a much broader way into the learning of the math and science in an integrated way. So it's a unified course, meaning that along the learning of the math, the science is embedded. There are projects around the program for the cadets that allow them to experience how the math and science comes alive in very inspirational projects. So we have a number of these things that are in different stages of being released into the public, and so Level Being 9 is about this. Level 9, I should just say, the term Level 9 is relating to the GCSE standards. Level 9 is the highest possible standard. It's the excellence. So that means we're aiming at Level 9, aiming at excellence all the way. And you may have heard in the previous shows how foundation tier, the idea of putting children into foundation tier, is a kind of trick and a block and an obstacle to the full potential of children, and parents should be warned about that. They should take care that that doesn't happen to your ones. Anyway, Level Being 9, this is the first flagship course. The second flagship course is called Educating with Unified Knowledge, Foundation Course 1. This is our pedagogy course, our main pedagogy course, in which parents and teachers are welcome to learn more about the pedagogy. The pedagogy is a system that can be summarized as the culture, the objectives, and the principles, processes, and protocols. As 3 things, 3 groupings. And so over the course, ones are engaged to learn about the culture of unified knowledge, the objectives of unified knowledge, and, as I say, the principles, processes, and protocols. There are 2 points of reference for the culture, 6 points of reference for the objectives, and 10 points of reference for the principles, processes, and protocols. And so various elements of that will come forward as examples in the show. This evening we're going to feature a lot around this, so stay tuned, get ready for that. The next flagship course, this flagship course is called Hair Structure Science. The Hair Structure Science course is about hair structure science, the science of hair. And inside of that, as it is a unified knowledge course, it means that the principles that you learn through that are transferable. It means that you can realize how hair structure from the atomic level through to the full hair structure, the full hair shaft, how the patterns inside of that, the biology, the chemistry inside of that, and the physics of it, how this can relate to other things that you wouldn't think were related to hair. Anyway, we'll get to that. That's the Hair Structure Science course. More to come on this. 4th course, final one, flagship course. This is our Dankira Tawagi, African warrior dance. We have an African warrior dance class which runs on a Friday at the Chestnut Community Centre, and this is about African martial arts. It's cultural arts, it's movement, dance, and the development of freedom of expression. So there's a lot in there. There is drama, there is a whole range of different arts, breathing techniques and stances, spoken word and storytelling. All kinds of dynamics come under the term Dankira Tawagi, which means warrior dance. And so we have this course as well. These are our flagship courses. Level being 9, Educating with Unified Knowledge, Foundation Course 1, Hair Structure Science, and Dankira Tawagi. After that, we will be featuring our special feature. We have special features each week, and so the next part of the show will be the special feature. And this week, this cycle here, we will be reviewing activities today. We're going in today. I want to take you behind the scenes in a couple of our class programs, our learning programs. So you're going to hear from some of the young people and from some of the guardians for those young people in two different situations. One being the level being 9 class, one of the level being 9 classes, and one being in one of the pedagogy classes. And these things took place today, so it's completely fresh. You'll have to flow with the liveness of it. It's live, so I'm going to play them. They're kind of raw, but you'll hear, and I hope you'll hear something interesting. But definitely you'll get behind the scene and get to see the kind of things we're discussing, the kind of activities we're doing, the way we're approaching it. You may get some flavour for it. There's nothing like doing it though, but you know, I'm here to convey some flavours of the experience, and trust that you will have questions and investigate further. We are at the Chestnut Community Centre. You're welcome to contact us there. My number there is 020-8815-3939. Also, you can contact us in our in our WhatsApp group. In the WhatsApp group, the number for the WhatsApp group is 079-3050-1777. This is the WhatsApp space, the Futurist. We are the Futurist on WhatsApp. Several forums, Black Open University group, the Futurist forum group, and also the radio show group. So the radio show group is BOU Radio Show. And in that space, I'll be putting updates on what we're doing in the show. You'll get special interactions in there. We have quite a nice number of ones there with interesting commentary and feed forward. So it's a dynamic space directly related to the show. If you are interested in the way of this show and you want to be inside proper at the nucleus, then you need to come into that WhatsApp forum. That's the space. So also I should give you the studio number. Studio number is 079-444-31366. This is for the final part of our show, which is Sababu, Reasoning Time. And yeah, we're open to that. I have to say, I'm warming up to that. So we'll see about the talk show side of this program here. But in principle, the final part of our show is Sababu, reasoning. And I am actually enjoying more of the reasoning that happens in our WhatsApp space, because there is follow through. You will know by now that this show engages one more deeply than just listening. So you will need pen and paper, or you need some way to record things that come up, to make notes. Yes, to make notes. So do that, make notes, ask questions, feed forward your ideas, your experiences, get involved. That's what this is about. Get involved. You're very, very welcome, and we are at service. We are in service. We are at your service. Black Open University, education from an African place of being. We're going to go into quite a strong feature in regard to our pedagogy programming. But before we do that, and before we get to the Gazette reasoning, before we do those things, let me just bring you forward with a little introduction to a book called Abid's Secrets.
This book is for everybody. If it's early years, you read the story to them and you show them the pictures. And you might think some of these pictures are advanced, but if you're early years, everything is advanced, everything is detailed. You're seeing detail in everything. So it's good for them to see those things at an early age, hear it in a natural story, and later on, as they get older, you unpack it. So it's from early years, even I'm a great fan of the pre-birth season. So if you could have a one that is pre-birth, you read the story. Because it's about space, they're coming into a greater awareness of their space. So it's every age, every age. For a parent, it's a great insight for a natural, nature-centered way of learning. For a teacher, it's a great resource.
Abid's Secret. Out now.
You need to be fully nourished. This book is one of the things we need to consume.
What I've seen in this book is that this book is revelatory also. So it's not just revolutionary, it's revelatory in terms of each piece of understanding builds a deeper understanding that actually comes from within.
Get your copy at abitsecret.co.uk.
And so it really provides a very deep and very clear step-by-step way for one to learn how to resurrect community.
Yeah, resurrect is what is a bold statement, but it's true in the resurrection.
It will be beneficial to the children, depending whether they're small, teenager or elder. Even us adults will learn from this book as well. So,
for more info or orders by phone, call 020-8144-1720.
The book was just amazing. It was a great read through. I just think it's a fantastic book. Bought 2 copies, one for me, one for my grandson. So I just know that it's going to be great. There's a wonderful website as well, and then there will be more books in the series, which I can't wait for.
abitsecret.co.uk. abitsecret.co.uk. For more info or orders by phone, 020-8144-1720. Abid's Secret. Out now. Yes. So Abid's Secret. This is a book. I am the author for this book. It's a children's book, but it's also a teacher's book, introducing aspects of space geometry through a very fun Anansi style story. we'll do some extracts from that in future shows, so you get a flavour for it. But I just thought I'd introduce a touch of it there. So, Gazat, let's get to it. We're going to keep it very simple on this cycle here. Gazat, we're talking the moon cycle. We're at the waning gibbous. Waning meaning that it's declining from its illumination of apparent full moon. We've passed the point where it appears as a apparent full moon, as they say, and its illumination is waning, is declining as it moves around in its phase, in its movement around the earth. So the illumination is approximately 88%. It's still quite illuminated, quite bright in the sky when you can see it, and it's in declining phase. You will have noted, if you caught the previous show, I gave you a heads up to the partial eclipsing of the moon entering the Earth's shadow. That took place, and it was quite an event. So some of you will have caught that, and those who gave me the feed forward, you all enjoyed it. So well done for you to get observant to these things. Great. So let's keep in touch with the cycles. The reason why we open our show to talk about the moon in this way, it's not astrology. It is the physical science that I'm interested in bringing our attention to. The reason we do that is because this is a good vehicle into harmony with nature. And harmony with nature is one of the 10 principles, processes and protocols of unified knowledge. To value harmony with nature, we need to spend a bit more time looking up and beyond what appears to be just in front of us or just in our hand, looking out into the broader domain, and even just to wonder is a good beginning. But beyond that, to start to make estimations and study the patterns of what's going on, and start to calculate and start to forecast and start to plan in alignment with these cycles. This is our tradition, to know the cycles by the fact of years and years, millennia of observation, to know the cycles and then to harmonize with them in a powerful way. But if we're not observing them, simple cycles like the cycle with the moon and the earth, this relationship, then there's very little chance of being in proper harmony. And I don't want to launch a war against astrology and astrologists, because I know so many people I meet, they love the subject. If I say we're going to talk about the moon, people start to talk to me about astrology. Astrology, it's not the physical science, it's a different kind of conversation, and mostly the ones who are speaking about this are not sharing with the people who would follow that the physical science involved in it. Anyway, I did say I'm not going to launch a war against astrology, but I am critical that it's easy to say that some things beyond the planet, whether they be planets, the moon, or some other bodies in outer space, have influences on people and can be used to determine the future. That's all well and good. However, if in reality you don't know where those things are and you have no way to really perceive them, even though you could, like if someone says to you, oh, there's an influence of Mercury on your being, but you don't know how the cycle of Mercury is, or Jupiter, or Saturn, there's something wrong for that. If you are going to start to talk about it or incorporate it into the liberty, but in reality you have no physical science relationship to the things that are being spoken about, in my opinion, humble, I may be wrong, you can check me, I'm happy to reason on it, but there's something very apparently wrong for this, that you would value it but not value perfecting knowledge of the physical science of their orbits and their interrelationships in the physical science way. Anyway, enough of that. So we're going a bit light with the Gazat reasoning today. We're just sticking to the moon. Previous shows we've gone into some other things, some planetary observations that are available mostly with the naked eye, but also with obviously telescopes and binoculars can help. But I will say, for this show, I recommend ones get Stellarium, the software called Stellarium, which is a good planetarium software freely available for all computers, and I highly recommend it. This is a tool that I will make references to, so you can see the modeling that we're using here, and you can check it against the physical reality of what you see in the night sky or the day sky, and in doing that come to a better knowing about the cycles of things. Okay, Zeina Gizeh, news time. The news this week is more internal. It's an internal news I wanted to share with you, and it may be a bit premature to share it like this, but I'm excited by this. I want to share more. I want to call on one's listening to see if there's others interested in engaging in this project. We have several projects, as I mentioned. Part of the formula for creating dynamic learning is to create dynamic projects in which the dynamic learning can take place for the cadets who are involved, or for the families that are involved in the projects. We are a learner cooperative, and that means that the cooperative needs to form the projects. The cooperative needs to get involved in the way the project evolves, to put your hand to it, put your mind and heart to it, so that we can build the spaces that we want to see. You may not know, you may be one that feels that the standard system of education is okay, and your child is okay inside of that, so you don't need to get too involved in alternate approaches. However, I myself have a lot of experience of interacting with parents who have hit the hard, sharp side of standard system failings, and so I highly recommend that more of us invest in at least complementary and supplementary learning experiences, in developing high quality supplementary or complementary learning experiences for our ones. I highly recommend that. More to the point, one should develop alternate ways as a matter of choice, because without choice there can be disrespect. The absence of choice creates a kind of disregard. I'm speaking about the way that schools, standard system schools, can often appear to see parents, black parents and their black children, who are having there are underperformance issues with the school system. It doesn't seem to be talked about so much now. It's as if it's gone away, but it hasn't gone away. We're in a position to check the data. It hasn't gone away, so there are still issues. And what tends to happen is that parents and children, they come towards the end of the schooling and start to realize the kind of bind that they're in, the kind of trap that they've fallen into, in terms of the child being put into limited options, and the frustrations that go with that. And there's a lot of apathy that builds up around a young person when they know that they've been played by the system and circumstance, and perhaps by their own family, if they didn't They weren't clued up enough to protect them from this. So I am the warner. I am the one that comes out calling out, be careful, watch out, danger about. And so all of that talking is to say that our learner cooperative is busy creating very dynamic projects into which very high quality, powerful learning experiences can be had. It does require, as a cooperative, members to be actively involved in developing those things. It's not the same as just the service mentality. You bring your child to the school, drop them off, leave them, and then the school does it and you pick them up and it's done. Learner cooperative is much more engaging of us, but we need that to recover our own sovereignty. Remember that word from the last show? Sovereignty. We need to recover our own dignity in terms of self-management of these things. And so, on to my point. News. We have been invited to express interest in properties in Sefton, which is a council just above Liverpool, northern England. And we've done it. We've put in an expression of interest for several properties to take management of properties in the Sefton area. I'm not at liberty to go into the full nitty-gritty details of it, but these properties are modest in size, underused at the moment, and have a capacity for small but dynamic projects to sit in them. And so this is the project. I wanted to share with you this project because, well, I'd like you to see how we're working, how we're thinking about these things. And so you'll like the idea. You can get involved. One, if you know people in Sefton, then yeah, definitely I want to hear from you, because we're building up interest in the area. I have been in conversation with several councillors in Sefton, and there's an interest in our project. I should tell you the name of the project before I go too much further into that. So it is You Learn Naturally Steamed Up Creators Hub. A Creators Hub is basically a making space, and in these ones we're talking about the making of recumbent trikes. Now, what is a recumbent trike? A trike is a free-wheeled bike, so it's not a bike, it's a trike. And a recumbent is the one that you lay back in and you pedal forward. The body position is different, so you're sitting back, your feet are up, and you're pedaling forward to move the vehicle. Normally, some of you will have seen the two-wheel trike. No, sorry, Yukata. The two-wheel recumbent, a recumbent bicycle. Many will have seen this, and I know, because even when I see that, it looks precarious. Man or woman is laid back on two wheels, but they're laying back and pedaling forward. It doesn't look easy to balance. It doesn't even look easy to get onto it. But, it's doable, and it is actually a superior vehicle to a bicycle. Let me tell you, it's a superior vehicle to a bicycle. The physics of a recumbent cycle is so much better than a normal bicycle. Normal bicycles put strain on the body in certain ways. So they're not perfectly designed for what they're doing. It's a cycle, it's supposed to aid transportation, but they're not perfectly designed for the human being to do that thing, whereas a recumbent is a better design. So a trike recumbent has free wheels, which means it's perfectly stable, easy to get in, easy to get out, can't fall over because it's on free wheels. So it's an even better design, because you're still in the comfort of sitting back, you're still in the comfort of pedaling forward, the strain on the body is completely minimized, and you can get about in a more efficient way. Anyway, the Creators Hub. So You Learn Naturally steamed up Creators Hub in Sefton is about using these spaces that we've been invited to put expression of interest to create a space for building these trikes. Partially, it involves metalworking. When I say build it, I mean from the scratch. I know you were thinking, are you just building a bike? No, I mean fabrication of the frame from raw metal, constructing the frame, learning the metalworking, the engineering. That's called engineering, by the way. STEM, science, technology, engineering. So it's the engineering, and inside of the engineering, there is the math and the science and the various aspects of the science. And yeah, it's a fantastic STEM opportunity. We do plan to do this in London, but the opportunity for Sefton has come up because there is an invitation. We have been invited to express interest in these properties and to put something constructive in them. So this is our intention to do that. And as I said at the beginning, if you are someone that is in that area, then we're very happy to speak to you further about this. We've started a process, and as I was saying before, I've been speaking to various councillors there, like ward councillors, because they know the areas and they can, they link us up to the people who we need to talk to very nicely. Thank you very much to all of you for that. So we're making our inroads with this development, and I thought I would share it with you as news, because we are, as an organisation, Abundant Centres UK Development Trust, Black Open University, we are in a phase of fundraising and project establishment and development. And obviously to fully launch and establish projects, you need to have resources for that. So those things go hand in hand. Fundraising and project development, establishment, they go hand in hand. We're putting a lot of attention into that. This is the news. It's news, internal news. We are focusing in a way that we've never done before on fundraising. And so the funds must come. The resources must come. And into that experience is an opportunity not only for young people, cadets, young people to get involved, parents, families to get involved, teachers to get involved, not only for that, but also an opportunity for volunteers who want to learn about business administration, learn about project development, fundraising, project management. Yes, we have some learning experiences for this as well. We do have already quite a lot of work placements, but I'm looking for more. There's a specific kind of, I say work placement, but it's better to call it volunteer for this show, because there's a long-term volunteer or set of volunteers that we are looking for that will really help us consolidate the way we're working. And so the news is that we're now announcing our open recruitment of long-term volunteers in terms of business administration. I say business. We are a charitable organisation. It's a voluntary sector organisation. But in this day and age, charitable organisations have to think in a business-like way. So persons who may be in a situation where they need that kind of experience or want it and would like to be constructive, help community organisations like ours to develop, there is a very specific and amazing opportunity at your hand. If you're listening to this and you're thinking you are the one, or you might be the one, you should find out. You should come and see us at the Chestnut Community Centre. You can give us a call on 020-8815-3939, and if you ask to speak to me, Astamari, regarding the volunteering opportunities for business administration. There are other opportunities as well. There are voluntary opportunities in regard to project management, in regard to STEM research assistance. Because our projects are all focused around STEM. Many of them require research assistance, so we have some posts for this. But also in media and ICT, there's several areas of that development. Developing media infrastructure for the organization, there are opportunities there as well. So anyway, there is much behind it. This project is just one example. I'm sharing it to give you a sense of the broadness of our aspirations and operations and capacities and potential. Okay, so You Learn Naturally Steamed Up Creators Hub Sefton is about securing several sites across Sefton and using them as places to develop recumbent trikes from scratch and create a situation where young people can learn that in an apprenticeship style fashion, but also as courses and also as full-time learning. The unified knowledge pedagogy allows us to take a thing like that and extract from it all of the math and science that you would need to know in the GCSE curricula and have it embedded into the project. We do that with several different projects. So it's part of our model, part of our pedagogy's model to do this kind of thing. And if you are a teacher and you think, oh, that sounds interesting, then you should learn the pedagogy. If you come into the WhatsApp forum, I will share with you there the guide, the code book. We have a pedagogy code book, which is basically outlining the principles of the pedagogy. And I'm only sharing it inside of that space. Essentially, that space, I'm talking about the WhatsApp space. That is hashtag BOU radio show. And that is under the Futurist. Telephone number 079 3050 1777. This WhatsApp space is a special space for those who are really serious about these things, this kind of educational development from an African place of being. Now, you may be thinking, maybe because I just said African place of being, building trikes doesn't sound like it's from an African place of being. But it's the way you approach these things. It's metalwork. I've just mentioned it's metalwork. Metalwork is a very, very, very ancient thing. This is a very... Benin bronzes? Come on now. You know about the Benin bronzes, right? So this was a development of advanced technology long before Europe had these kind of technologies. Anyway, that's another show. We'll get to that. So that's the news. I'm going to move on. Time is moving swiftly forward, as it does. It's the rhythm, it's the pulse. And just to say, we are in a development phase with this project. It's the early stages, but I am keen to involve more people in that area, Sefton, but also others who have an interest either in the cycle, the world of cycling and cycle development, or also things that may connect from here. Part of our administration in London will be supporting the administration there in terms of the marketing of these cycles once they're produced, and other things like this, leasing, sales, and hiring. Several things like this. Recumbents, by the way, I mean, maybe you don't get my idea or my point for this. A recumbent cycle is not a cheap vehicle. It's not a cheap vehicle. We will endeavour to allow young people to create a vehicle that has a high value and be able to pass it forward at a lower cost than many others would. And so that's special. That's special, alongside just the fact of being able to make such a thing. Anyhow, so we have some associated partners involved in this, and I'm not at liberty to go into too much detail about that at the moment. But if you contact me, if you have a specific interest in this, then I am very happy to share it with you on a one-to-one. Get involved. Okay. African landscapes. African landscapes.
Wow. Man, I always say this at the beginning of our classes, but this time I am truly honored for this.
Yeah, you got a sneak preview there. I didn't mean to give you that sneak preview, but let me come again. More simply, we're coming into a musical, what they call them? They call them musical interlude. Coming up, more on the pedagogy, more on our classes today, behind the scenes at the Black Open University. Get ready.
eduze kwami angicela ungibambe bambe 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 angicela ungibambe bambe 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 angicela ungibambe bambe angicela squeeze squeeze angicela ungibambe bambe 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 angicela ungibambe bambe 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 angicela ungibambe bambe 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 angicela ungibambe bambe angicela squeeze squeeze angicela ungibambe bambe 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 bambe
Yes. We love them kind of musics, and I don't know if you can imagine it, but this is the music we have when we have our Dankira practice. Nice music to warrior dance to, you know? African martial arts. I don't know if you can visualize it. Free movement, flying and dancing, rolling, ducking and diving, weaving, bobbing and spinning. Flying like the African crowned crane, moving with the agility of Abit the praying mantis. Warrior dance. Anyway, that's a different subject. And what we're going to do now is speak to another behind the scene. We're moving on from the news into our flagship courses. And we're going to really focus in on the level being 9 and the educating with unified knowledge. What we have now, which is actually blends into our special feature, is a recording taken today in our classes today. One will give you some insights into a class with some young people. Small class, simple thing, but they are cadets doing advanced program, advanced learning, level being 9, and I'd like you to hear how that goes. Now, I have to forewarn you, because we have some modeling that is not the standard system. There's some language that we're using, there is some ideas that we've developed with the young people that they have a foundation in. And so me making a recording of us talking and then putting it out on a radio show like this is a bit abstract, because I haven't given you the foundation to know what we're talking about. So I'll try and do that now, but I'm forewarning you that we're just jumping straight into a thing, and I hope that you will catch the flow and get the essence of it, and get the feeling of how dynamic the learning is and the power of that. But the summary is this. In our level being 9 class, preparations for mastery and the mastery program, we are pursuing the advanced principles of mathematics, in the knowledge that those advanced principles are underpinning all of the science, and that the math and the science, along with other liberal arts subjects, give a really rich substance to learning, a really rich baseline to one's learning as a young person, but also as an adult. If we don't feel that we've really consolidated that baseline of basic knowledge, then yeah, we should make the foundation be mathematics and the sciences, and then build on that with the liberal arts. So the formula is this. First of all, our cadets should learn the classic ideas of mathematics: number, measure, ratio. There's a reasoning for each of those. There's practice and there's a depth of appreciation of what that is. The classic ideas of mathematics: number, measure and ratio, from an African place of being. Then, and whilst, we need to learn the big ideas of mathematics. There are many big ideas of mathematics. We have a scheme of arranging the big ideas of mathematics so that they sit alongside the classic ideas of mathematics, and we put all of those things into a structure that we use like a mind mapping structure. Mind mapping, if you're not sure what mind mapping is a way to capture ideas and the relationship of different bodies of knowledge, information, the way things relate together, using art, using illustration and sketch and color and other dynamics. So when you make a drawing that is a mind map, it's an alternative to just having a dry list of things. For some people, a list is not dry. It's just functional and it's easy to learn. But for many people, it's better to make illustration in the mapping of information. Make illustration in the mapping of information. And in that illustration, to use symbol, to use color, to use things that evoke certain kinds of emotion or memory in yourself, in your effort to hold the thing you want to be able to recall again. This is for enhanced memorization. So mind mapping is an important aspect of the learning process, learning experience. And what we have is a thing called the Mantis Memory Matrix. This is basically a 27-point cube which our cadets learn to construct as a virtual thing. That means that it's not a physical thing, it's a mental construction, but you're able to point to it in space. You could outline its points in space in front of you, or you could outline its points as if you were inside of it. It's a virtual structure like this. It's a cube with 27 points, 1 point in the center, and effectively points all around you. If you can imagine, you're in the center of a completely open space, just floating. You know how that is? Anyway, you're just floating, and in front of you, well, first of all, where you are is point 1. This is the first point. Your center is the first point. In front of you is another point, and behind you is a point. To your left is a point, and to your right is a point, above you is a point, and below you is a point. Okay, so now we're starting to flesh out this structure. The other points are not as easy to describe, but essentially you're in a cube. So if you saw it, it would make perfect sense to you. But if you've been able to map out the ones that I outlined, then you're pretty much there. You're pretty much seeing the cube. Anyway, so our cadets are taught to learn to make this visualization. In doing that, it's enhanced visualization, which is it's the third point of our mathematician's charter, to enhance visualization. So to be able, the act of being able to visualize this cube is an advanced kind of math, which, having done it, then sets up an ability to handle several domains of mathematics. Areas like vector, coordinates, these kind of areas sit very well with a mind mapping tool that's made of a cube that is a matrix. A matrix is like a web, like a netting. So the cadets have learnt to build this Mantis memory matrix, 27 points, in front of themselves or inside of it. Either they've learnt to do it or they're learning to do it, depending on who they are, where they are in the learning. When we are comfortable with building it, then we can place things into it. We can put things at the points that we've outlined. And in doing that, it allows one to put something in a physical place. Rather than it's just a list, it's in a spatial place. Allows you to memorize something because you've put it in a spatial place in relation to some other things that are in other spatial places around you or around each other. The Mantis memory matrix is like this. I will put this illustration into the WhatsApp space so you can see what I'm talking about. We have the big ideas of mathematics. We have a rap for it. In a previous show, we delivered the rap. So you heard me deliver the rap. And I explained what the big ideas were. And then I did the rap, and you could hear the words of the big ideas in the rap. Okay, I've explained that our cadets are learning this. They're learning the rap, but they're also learning to embed all the big ideas into this Mantis memory matrix. And so we were doing something along this line today. And I'm especially keen to bring it forward in terms of bringing it into the show, because this month and next month we'll see the production, the full production of a music video and the music beats and the music, the rapping of this song in a professional way. So it's going to be launched out as a professional tune, big tune, big music, and you're going to hear about it. It's going to be on your media. You're going to hear it. And you'll think, didn't I hear that on Bless Radio? Yeah, well, that's Damari from Bless Radio, Black Open University show. Wasn't he talking about this thing? Yes, it's that thing. That tune that you're going to hear as a big tune in a couple of months' time, we're talking about it now. And I want you to hear how some of our cadets are relating to the ideas behind it. The purpose of the tune is to give, within 4 minutes, a way to talk about all the big ideas of mathematics in a fun way. You're going to hear one of the young cadets, Kayla, big up to you. You're going to hear her working on her piece. She's not perfected it yet, but she's getting there, and will get there. And we're looking forward to that. She's determined to do it, and that's what we need. Determination, attitude. So, big up to all ones. Kaif and Kayla, these are the two young cadets you're going to hear from in a moment. These are the ones I was speaking to specifically about this. So, as time is on the flow, let's get to that.
Build deep and complete.
Do you know of the water of life?
What's the big idea? What's the big idea? Original again, start from the heart. Not art, too in deep. I see, I freeze. Mathematics, matrix, English, shapes, patterns. 1, 2, 3, you learn naturally. Classic.
Welcome to the Black Open University Show. Rebuilding education from an African place of being. Welcome to the Black Open University Show. Building education from an African place of being.
So we are going to have a talk about using the Mantis memory matrix to memorize all of the key points for the big ideas of mathematics. And so we've got a clarity of what the main titles are for the big ideas, and what you've been doing is looking at the bullet points that come under each section. So before we get down to like learning the bullet points, I think it's useful to have a way to visualize how many points there are under a given section. Like, you know, for this, like for example, with number, after today's class, I think we all agree there's 4 main sections under number. And then underneath each of those 4 sections, there's a certain number of bullet points. So it would be useful to get the number. Just having the number, that little scheme of numbers, like 4, and then for the first one of the 4, it relates to this many bullet points, the second one relates to this many bullet points. This arrangement starts to map out all of the points. There might be, for example, something we're going to do further with Kayla, where some specific bullet points she might need to practice, some specific principle that's in the bullet point. Then if we know where that is, rather than it's just a bullet point on a list, it's a place inside of the Mantis memory matrix. So you and I, are developing this kind of mind mapping. Partly we are doing it because I want you to utilize the tool, and obviously I want you to think about these bullet points and think about the big ideas in a different way and a deeper way. So we're just playing with it. That's what we're doing. Now if you can talk through what you've done so far, in fact, what I think would be good is to read out the headings. Read out the headings for all the big ideas. Big idea number 1, big idea number 2. Just say the headings, and then we'll build on it from there. Yeah, you can go for it.
Right now.
Yeah, straight.
Right. Big idea number 1, numbers. Counting numbers, should I say how many bullet points there are?
Let's say all of the big ideas first,
right.
And then we'll go back over it and put in the detail.
Right. Big idea number 1, numbers. Big idea 2, the base 10 numeration system. Big idea 3, equivalence. Big idea 4, comparison. Big idea 5, operation meanings and relationships. Big idea 6, properties. Big idea 7, basic facts and algorithms. Big idea 8, estimation. Big idea 9, patterns. Big idea 10, variable. Big idea 11, proportionality. Big idea 12, relations and functions. Big idea 13, equations and inequalities. Big idea 15, orientation and location. Big idea 16, transformations. Big idea 17, measurements. Big idea 18, data collection. Big idea 19, data representation. Big idea 20, data distribution. Big idea 21, chance.
Okay, good. And so let's go over it again and put in the detail, the way you've calculated the number of bullet points under each section. Thank you for coming in. We're recording, so be comfortable. Come in. Good to see you. Come in. You're welcome. No problem, you can be here. We're recording something right now as we speak, but no problem.
Big idea 1, numbers. Counting numbers, whole numbers, integers. Big idea 2, base 10 numeration system. Whole numbers, decimals. Big idea 3, equivalence. Numbers and numeration, number theory and fractions. Algebraic expressions and equations. Measurements. Big idea 4, comparison. Numbers and expressions, fractions, ratios and percent, geometry and measurement. Big idea 5, operations and relationships, whole numbers, rational numbers, fractions and decimals, and integers. Big idea 6, properties. Properties of operations, properties of equality. Properties of equality. Big idea 7, basic facts and algorithms, mental calculations, whole numbers, basic facts and algorithms, rational number, algorithms, measurements. Big idea 8, estimation, numerical measurement. Big idea 9, patterns, numbers, geometry. Big idea 10, variable. Big idea 11, proportionality. Big idea 12, relations and functions. Big idea 13, equations and inequalities. Big idea 14, shapes and solids. Big idea 15, orientation and location. Lines and line segments, objects. Big idea 16, transformations. Big idea 17, measurement. Big idea 18, data collection. Big idea 19, data representation. Big idea 20, data distribution. Big idea 21, chance.
Okay.
Those ones. Didn't have bullet points. Well, they did, but didn't have headings.
You didn't have headings?
They didn't have headings.
Okay, fine. Do you have numbers written down by the first ones? The earlier ones?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How many bullet points are on?
Yeah. Okay, so let's go over...
I've done that for all of them.
You did it for all of them, good. Okay, let's go through the first 3. One moment. Yes, Kayla. Let me see it. Can you do it again, but make it bigger, please? Make it bigger so that you have the heading in the same way that the heading is here, and then put this, Taylor, put this underneath it. So it's going to be big enough so you've got the row of numbers underneath it, just like it's here. Use the whole of this space, all of this space down to here.
So, say how many bullet points there are.
Yeah, go through the first big idea. When you go through each section, the heading, say how many bullet points there are. And then let's have a talk about where to put them in the Mantis memory matrix.
Right. Okay. Big idea 1, numbers. Counting numbers, 7 bullet points. Whole numbers, 4 bullet points. Integers, 4 bullet points. Fractions, rational numbers, 11 bullet points.
Okay. Have you thought about how these things can go in the structure?
Partly because I was busy writing the rest of it down, so I didn't have much time.
I get that. What comes to mind? See, the point of the Mantis memory matrix is to make it be an easy thing to place things into. So now you've got some numbers, you've got some points you want to recall, you know the structure. Where would you put them? Let's take the first one. So you've got 4. There's 2 ways you might approach this. You could make each one of the headings become a new Mantis memory matrix. Or you could put all of that information into one. As in, one point is the heading, and then from that point, you branch it off to the bullet points that come underneath it. What's the total number of points that you have there?
8, 15, 26.
So it can fit into the Mantis memory matrix then? Yeah. Okay. Which way would you prefer? Which way do you think is going to be easier to recall?
I think remembering each bullet point individually, that would take a lot of time and practice.
You mean each heading?
Oh, each heading. Well, that would take a little bit longer, but number and then branching off into. I think we should just make each heading like a part of the Mantis memory matrix instead. Just personally.
Okay.
It would just be easier. So you remember the big ideas here, but then you can change. So you can alternate between. So you can go origin, art, etc. But then once you finish that cube, you can move on to like a next cube and see like counting numbers, whole numbers, etc. with the headings.
Okay. So if I'm getting you clear, what would be the progression from big idea number 1, which is at point 7 in the Mantis memory matrix? When we get to that point and you say number, and then we want to go inside of that, we open up a new Mantis memory matrix. What does it look like inside of it?
It would just look like you have the corner of the cube, but then that corner is just surrounded by another cube. So that's the same.
Okay, what will you put there? Lay it out for me. Let's do the one. We'll focus on this first one. Number.
I think I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Okay, you've got 4 key headings. Place those 4 things in 4 extreme points in the cube, and then start from there, because at the end of the day, you've got to associate multiple points around each one, right?
Yeah.
Or perhaps you might take the one that has the biggest amount of points and think that one through first.
That could work. I'm not sure, to be honest, though.
Okay, then because of that, I think it's going to be easier to turn each one of the headings into a new cube.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, okay, I see. Okay then, so let's do that then. So you've got 4 cubes. The first cube is inside of number, there's 4 cubes. Let's say under number, you have the 4 points that would be top left corner, bottom right corner, top right corner. Let's say that those are the 4, they're just in front of you in the cube. And then for that first one, how many points do you have to map into this new cube? And what's the title of the cube?
Well, the title of the cube would be numbers, because that's the first big idea.
No, what's the subtitle of the cube?
The cube or the points?
There's a heading, and then there's some points underneath the heading, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the heading? What's the first heading under number?
Counting numbers.
Counting numbers. So this cube, inside a cube, this one is called counting numbers. How many points are there?
7.
Okay, where do you want to place the 7 points? You're in a cube that has 27 points. You want to map out 7 points in a balanced way. Where do you want to put them?
One, I think center, middle center,
to the front.
Yeah, to the front, and front, top left, front, middle left.
Are you counting them the way we do?
Yeah, I'm counting them the way we
fine.
normally do it. So it just in that way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. No. Yeah, I think I would do it like that.
Okay. If you follow that pattern, are you going to follow that same idea when you do the next one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I hear you. I think if you do that, you lose some of the power of the form, because then each one looks exactly the same as the other. The beauty of the mind mapping is that each cube can look unique. If you laid out the 7, let's say for example, you've got 7 points, one in the center, one at the front, one at the back.
I actually just thought.
Okay, that's star shape.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards that one.
Okay, fine. So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that.
Yeah, that star shape, it comes to mind. It comes to mind. So if you laid out the 7 like that, and this is what I mean by practicing it, if you get used to the structure, then a number will automatically configure into a kind of pattern that makes immediate sense. Then you can start to remember what goes where inside of that. Right. So let's say we do that one for 7. What's the next one?
Whole numbers.
Whole numbers. How many points?
4.
Okay. Where do you want to put the 4 points?
1, 2, 3, 4 in the corners of the first half. In the corners of the front half.
Okay, fine. I get what you mean. Obviously, people listening won't get that, but they have to get to learn the Mantis memory matrix. Okay, fine. The next one.
Integers will be at the back.
Integers.
Corners, yeah.
Okay. How many points under integers? Okay.
And then they follow the same principle as whole numbers.
Okay.
But at the back. At that 1, 2, and 4.
Okay, fine.
Then it'll be fractions and rational numbers. That has 11 bullet points. That one I'd have to think about for a minute.
Okay. It does require thinking. I'll tell you what comes to mind for me. The 4 corners, the 8 corners of the cube. That's 8 of them. There's 4 at the top, 4 at the bottom, and then a line straight down the middle. Top, middle, bottom.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah, but you could do it another way. You can do it, there's many ways you could do it. The real point is that the more you play with it, the quicker some configuration will come. And then into that configuration, when you're actually reading the points, and you have some things that relate to each other, some bullet points will kind of connect to some other bullet points, but you will have a physical place that you've put them. You say that one relates to this one, and you spatially, they're somewhere. That's the beauty of it. Okay, I think we've done it. We've done our exercise. I wanted just to talk it through and share the idea of how we can use the tool. Is it clearer?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the next one? The next cube out of interest?
Big idea. The base 10 numeration system. That just has whole numbers, 5 bullet points, and decimals, 2 bullet points.
Okay, so map those then. Because you can put that into one cube.
Whole numbers would just go center. I think it would just go like this at center and just branching out on the x and y axis, like 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, I get you.
And decimals, you could put that anywhere.
How many points under the 2? Where? You can put it anywhere. Where do you want to put them? This is where it would be useful to read the points. Because if they had some particular, let's say they might speak in a way that lends itself to something being above and below, or something being to one side or the other side, the reasoning might lend itself to where you should put it. Here, have a look. We're nearly there, Kayla. You know what I want you to do before we close? I want to hear the big ideas from you. I want you to sing it. You say you know the whole thing, but I need to hear it. So I want to hear it. Get ready.
Decimal place value is an extension of whole number place value.
Read it aloud.
Decimal place, first bullet point. Decimal place value is an extension of whole number place value, and the base 10 numeration system extends infinitely to very large and very small numbers, millions and millions.
Right. Is that, I mean, basically it sounds like that is just saying that which is beyond one and that which is inside one.
Well, that's the second one. The second one is saying that.
Read the 2 points again.
Decimal place value is an extension of whole number place value. The base 10 numeration system extends infinitely to very large and very small numbers, in millions and millions.
Okay. And the second point?
That was the second one.
Okay. So where do you want to place them?
Well, to me, it doesn't seem like they're complete opposites. Well, they're in decimal, so they should be close together, but it doesn't seem like they're complete opposites.
Okay.
So I think they should go at... I think they should go to 5, and then the first one being 5, and the next one being 6. Just they're connected, but they're not complete opposites. So.
Okay, it's fine. This is where your own creativity to it comes in, your own feeling to how they relate. And obviously, if we can do it in a way that touches a kind of universal fact of it, then it should be useful to someone else using the same model. But someone else might choose it in a different way. But I agree with you, it's cool. Okay, good. Thank you, Kaif. It's clear. And this is the process that we're going to use to build up all of this. I would like you to continue this as your assignment. Map them out. Okay. Map them out. And the mapping out, it is useful. It is classic mind mapping to map a thing out, to signpost where things are going to go. Like if you're building a building, you signpost the ground. So that's what we're doing. Before we put the content of the bullet point in, we've got a place for it to go. Virtually.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Kayla, it's your time. Bring your chair over here. It's alright. It's a test. I haven't heard you do this for a long time. I've said to you that you need to be able to deliver the utterance, but obviously you need to know the meaning. I'm not testing you on the meaning yet, because we're still working on the very basics of that. So that's what that is. But I would like to hear you deliver the rap.
Build deep and complete.
Do you know of the water of life?
What's the big idea? What's the big idea? Original begin, start from the heart. Not art, too indeed. I see, I freeze. Mathematics, matrix, institutes, patterns. 1, 2, 3, you learn naturally. Classic.
Welcome to the Black Open University show. Rebuilding education from an African place of being. Welcome to the Black Open University show. Building education from an African place of being.
Go for it, Kayla.
What's the big idea? Original begin, start from the heart. Not art, true indeed. I seed, I fruit. Mathematics, matrix, institutes, patterns. 1, 2, 3. You learn naturally. Classic, measure beauty and the mundane. Look to the map, seeing. Rational in portion, be not mundane or vain. Number to infinity, all things count. Still, base 10 bound. Then more article bases must be found through equivalence and comparison of relative values. Be free to see operations meanings of this to that, related to term families, properties, revealed through practice operations. Add, subtract, divide, multiply, again add infinitum. The basic facts correcting dum-diddy-dum-dum. Magic, algorithmic, like hand to wrist to fist when writing.
Pull up, keep going.
Build through practice, wrist to fist when writing. Process, calculated intentions, get the job done. But first, estimations of patterns better played to this a variable beat. Proportion, ratio, I must keep related to higher functions. Reap that power, equate in quality and shape and solid form. Orientate, locate, and transform. Measure in space-time, consistent in forming upright nations, XYZ stations of the cross, collect data, represent ever deeper inner concentration in what may seem a mean mode, medal and distribute that coded dance of chance in knowledge of one certainty. Tawagi, yes, that's me. From the heart, I be origin of all. I be my art. I be original. I be my art. I be original. I be my art. I be original. I be my art.
Okay, thank you. We're working. I see it's coming together. Obviously, you have to practice a bit more, but we're coming together.
Build deep and complete.
Do you know of the water of life?
What's the big idea? What's the big idea? Original again, start from the heart. Not art, true indeed. I see, I freeze. Mathematics, matrix, institutes, patterns. 1, 2, 3, you learn classic.
Welcome to the Black Open University Show. Rebuilding education from an African place of being. Welcome to the Black Open University Show. Building education from an African place of being.
Again.
You want to go again?
Go ahead.
I just need some. Only the one with the one that I got a little bit struggled with. Only one piece, and the rest I can do.
I see. Okay. Well then, before you do it then, I'll give you something to do. Assistance. Not too loud. You're going to have to speak louder, Kayla. You're going to have to raise your voice. Yeah, make it loud, but don't drum loud. Let's see.
What's the big idea?
Hold on. What rhythm do you think will go with this? Kite. Mitchell Simmons. Okay. Lead the way.
What's the big idea? Originally begin, start from the heart, art, true indeed. I see, I feel.
One moment. So it has to be much louder to get your voice clear on this recording. It has to be much louder. Yeah, loud. You have to project it out. The drumming has to be softer, but your voice has to be much louder than that.
Okay. Original begin, start from the heart, my art, true indeed. I see, I fruit, mathematics, matrix, institute, patterns. 1, 2, 3, you learn naturally. Classic, measure of beauty, and still based and bound. Then more article bases must be found through equivalence and comparison of relative values. Be free to see operations, mean links of this to that, related from these properties, revealed through practice operations. Add, subtract, divide, multiply, again and infinitum. The basic facts correcting, dum diddy dum dum. Magic, algorithmic, like hand to wrist, figure writing, and sometimes tragic wrist to fist when fighting. Process, calculated intention, get the job done. But first, estimations of better made plans, patterns better play. To this a variable beat, proportions correct, ratio I must keep related to high functions. Reap that power, acute, equate in quality, shape and solid form, orientate, locate and transform. Measure in space and consistent, informing upright nations, XYZ stations of the cross, collect data, represent ever deeper inner concentration in what may seem a mean mode, metal and distribute that coded dance of chance and the knowledge of one certainty. What? Yes, that's me from the heart. I be origin of all. I be my art. I be original. 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 I be my art.
Thank you very much. Well done, well done. We are still in the work in progress, of course.
I guess maybe Khalif didn't want to sing.
Do you want to explain why you're so... Don't be shy, Khalif.
I don't like singing.
He doesn't like singing. He doesn't like singing. He just
maybe he likes to dance.
He does like dance. But anyway, no problem. It's not really about singing though. It's more about breath command. Breath command. It's a type of breathing. So we should get that, remove that fear. You know what they say, don't you, Kai? You know what they say?
No.
Farahata amro bidaino.
Nice try.
I only struggle with the part when it's talking about algorithmic and stuff.
You've got to get the meanings clear.
Build deep and complete.
Do you know of the water of life?
What's the big idea? What's the big idea? Original again, start from the heart. Not art, too deep. I see, I feel. Mathematics, matrix, institutes, patterns. 1, 2, 3, you learn classic.
Welcome to the Black Open University Show. Rebuilding education from an African place of being. Welcome to the Black Open University Show. Building education from an African place of being. Build deep.
Yes, family, build deep. Yeah, this is how we're doing it. Building deep on the Black Open University Show here on Bless Radio. We're coming towards that summary part of the show. I hope you got much from that. We took you behind the scenes, inside the Level Being 9 laboratory, the place we concoct our fantastic stories. So anyway, that is an insight to how we're embedding the big ideas of mathematics into the Mantis memory matrix with our two cadets, two of the front-running cadets, Kaif and Kayla. I have one more thing to play because that show, that feature was in a class for children. Immediately after that, we had our pedagogy class in which two of the guardians for one of the children were present, and we spoke through some of the things that took place in the class, including another kind of review of the big ideas. So I'm going to play this now to summarize our show. I'd like you to hear the parents reading through more detailed information about number, which is big idea number 1, and Kaif has explained that there are 4 sections: counting numbers, whole numbers, integers, and rational numbers, and within each one of those there are a number of bullet points. Right, so now hear the parents reading out the bullet points. Well, parent and grandmother, mother and grandmother, reading out the bullet points, and us talking a little bit around that. This is the final piece for the show, and obviously we're going to have our signature tune. So yeah, it's been great. Get ready. There's more to do, but we thank you for tuning in to the Black Open University show.
Build deep and complete.
Do you know of the water of life?
What's the big idea? What's the big idea? Original again, start from the heart. Not up, too deep. I see, I freeze. Mathematics, matrix, institutes, patterns. 1, 2, 3, you learn at 3. Classic.
Welcome to the Black Open University show. Rebuilding education from an African place of being. Welcome to the Black Open University show. Building education from an African place of being. Big idea number 1. Mantis memory matrix. Number 7. Numbers. The set of real numbers is infinite, and each real number can be associated with a unique point on the number line. Examples of mathematical understandings. Counting numbers. Bullet point. Counting tells how many items there are altogether. When counting, the last number tells the total number of items. It is a cumulative count. Bullet point. Counting a set in a different order does not change the total. Bullet point. There is a number word and a matching symbol that tell exactly how many items are in a group. Bullet point. Each counting number can be associated with a unique point on the number line, but there are many points on the number line that cannot be named by the counting numbers. Bullet point. The distance between any two consecutive counting numbers on a given number line is the same. Bullet point. 1 is the least counting number, and there is no greatest counting number on the number line. Bullet point. Numbers can also be used to tell the position of objects in a sequence. For example, third. And numbers can be used to name something. For example, social security numbers.
Whole numbers. First bullet point. 0 is a number used to describe how many are in a group with no objects in it. Second bullet point. 0 can be associated with a unique point on the other number line. Third bullet point. Each whole number can be associated with a unique point on the number line, but there are many points on the number line that cannot be named by whole numbers. Last bullet point. 0 is the least whole number and there is no greatest whole number on the number line. Integers. First bullet point. Integers are the whole numbers and their opposites on the number line, where 0 is its own opposite. Second number line. Second bullet point. Each integer can be associated with a unique point on the number line, but there are many points on the number line that cannot be named by integers. Third bullet point. An integer and its opposite are the same distance from 0 on the number line. Last bullet point. There is no greatest or least integer on the number line.
Fractions or rational numbers. Bullet point. A fraction describes the division of a whole, region, set, segment into equal parts. Bullet point. The bottom number in a fraction tells how many equal parts the whole or unit is divided into. The top number tells how many equal parts are indicated. Bullet point. A fraction is relative to the size of the whole or unit. Bullet point. A fraction describes division. Open bracket. A over B equals A divided by B. A and B are integers and B is not equal to 0. And it can be interpreted on the number line in two ways. For example, 2 over 3 equals 2 divided by 3. On the number line, 2 divided by 3 can be interpreted as two segments where each is a third of a unit, 2 times a third, or a third of 2 whole units, a third times 2. Each is associated with the same point on the number line, rational number. Bullet point. Each fraction can be associated with a unique point on the number line, but not all of the points between integers can be named by fractions. Bullet point. There is no least or greatest fraction on the number line. Bullet point. There are an infinite number of fractions between any two fractions on the number line. Bullet point. A decimal is another name for a fraction and thus can be associated with the corresponding point on the number line. Bullet point. Whole numbers and integers can be written as fractions. For example, 4 equals 4 over 1, minus 2 equals minus 8 over 4. Bullet point. A percent is another way to write a decimal that compares part to a whole, where the whole is 100 and thus can be associated with the corresponding point on the number line. Last bullet point, percent is relative to the size of the whole.
Good, thank you for that. I think what will be useful is for you to share a few words about the experience of our class today, just in summary. This will be a good counterpoint to what we're doing, and so let's have a little conversation about that. Not necessarily about the detail of this, but more generally, because we've done a few different things, even in terms of the pedagogy. This is a pedagogy class, and so we've reviewed what we did in the previous class, which was the class for the cadets. We've reviewed it in a different kind of detail, and now you're producing some more material, which not only will be used in the show, but obviously you all will be able to listen to it as a family, and that's good. So this is the process. This is what is meant by cooperative. This is what's meant by developing resources. This is it. It's very live, but Grandma, what do you have to say?
Basically, that I have found that it's helped with my mathematical understanding, because it's empowered me to be able to help the cadets in their home learning and to reinforce what they're learning in class.
I've gained a better understanding of numbers. Through this method, learning about certain numbers that are inside numbers and being able to see it visually through circles.
Yeah, the way it's illustrated, is useful, and that's been an important part of the class that we've had both with the cadets and ourselves in the pedagogy. Is looking at how information is presented, but just the act of us talking about it. And obviously the young people are here, the children are here, the cadets are here, so they can hear that we are talking about this.
Yes.
For me, that's also important. It's not, we're not unaware of that. But I commend the two of you for reapproaching this, because sometimes people feel they can just leave it to the school to do it.
No.
Hand it over.
No.
Let them get on.
No.
Whatever you get back is what you get back.
Exactly. You can't just leave it to one. Everything in life you need support, and you need to reinforce what they've learned, which is why I'm so grateful for the pedagogy course, and when I'm able to attend to learn what my daughter is learning and try to reinforce what she's been taught at home, which is important. That's how she will remember and continue to keep the knowledge, by going over what she's learned every day.
That's right. And anything else to say, Grandma?
The Mantis memory matrix, as well as a tool which helps in the visualization of the whole process.
I have noted you've taken a particular interest in it. I see you put a bit more in your own private practice to memorize the points and place them out. That's good. It is an advanced memorization tool, and it's something that is unique to our system. And so I commend you also for going in there like that, and the fact that you do that will make it easier for the children, the cadets, to do it themselves, for them to see the value of it, and you're opening the way between you. You're opening the way, and this is what we have to do. This is what Learner Cooperative is about. So anyway, thank you for reading that. I'm going to play it on our show tonight. So on that, Hashima.
Build deep and complete.
On
Do you know of the water of life?
What's the big idea? What's the big idea? Original again, start from the heart. Not up, too in the deep. I see, I freeze. Mathematics, matrix, institutes, patterns. 1, 2, 3, you learn how to read. Classic.
Welcome to the Black Open University Show. Rebuilding education from an African place of being. Welcome to the Black Open University Show. Building education from an African place of being. Building.
Yes. Well, give thanks for that. We got our engineer in the house. It's that time of night. Engineer's got itchy fingers, ready to rock and roll for the next movement. So, yeah, we're sliding forward. I trust that you take the full cycle of the learning now, because now you've heard the cadets speaking, and you've heard the parents and the grandmother, the guardian speaking, and you see now maybe a bit closer how we're working in the cooperative action, engaging all stakeholders in the learning, in the advanced learning, Black Open University from an African place of being. So we're coming to the completion of the show. It's been a pleasure to share this with you, and I look forward to reasoning more with you on it. Be free to contact us through the WhatsApp space. I've given the number for that, so be free for that. Or more directly, contact us at the centre. The office number is 020-8815-3939. I am Astamari. This is the Black Open University Show. We're coming to the completion of the show. I'm not going to give too much review on what they said because it's quite clear. And when you listen to this as a podcast, when you hear it again, it's something that will be well worth reviewing a few times to really take in what's just been presented in this show. It's special things. It's a special thing. Okay, so I think you must know that there will come a day when this way of learning is available to all of our community globally. Yetawagi Salamta, Exir Yemasagan Hashima Tawagi Asab. Creator be praised. Respect the warrior idea.
There'll come a day. There'll come a day. There'll come a day when the presence of the moment will truly be all there is. It will be all that will be sought after, revealing within life's riches. There'll come a day when we will stand for truly what we believe in, honoring only the truth as we truly see it. And on this day, the rainbows of light will set us free. Deep within our souls, we'll know that only the goodness must show. And on the waves will flow into the midnight we'll go. An abyss of which we'll have no fear, because we'll always know that the Creator is here. Here in our souls, here in our hearts, here in our minds, creating within us a certain peace. A peace withstanding all the arrows of persecution, all the vies for validation. A peace we've never ever known in this lifetime, but have many, many, many lifetimes before. Open the door. Open the door to your heart. Release the anger. Release the tension. Release the shame, blame. Release the fear. As you know, the Creator is here, here in abundance for you, so that you may serve another too. Honor that which you hold near and dear, for that is the only reason you are here. Yes, there'll come a day when all the pain and sorrow will wash away, and on the waves of love you see, that's where we'll be, you and me. You and me.
You're listening to Bless.
You me.